The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
There was a young boy, 11 years old. His name was Avrami. He comes home from school one day with a smile on his face, beaming, and he says, "Mommy, guess what? We finished Perek HaManiach today. We finished the whole Perek in Baba Kama, and tomorrow we're having a siyum." "Mommy," he says, "you make such nice cakes. Could you make a cake for our class? Everyone will love it." Mother thinks to herself, she was going to bake anyways that evening. Her boss was making a simcha, and she was going to make her nicest, most elegant, fancy, ungepatchkete cake that she makes. And she goes, "Of course, I'm baking a cake anyways, I'll make one for you too." And she makes this stunning cake with caramel and nuts and glazing. It's 3 stories tall. She makes that for her boss. She makes a little simple flat cake for her son to bring to the siyum. The boy doesn't know which cake is for what. The next morning he wakes up, he has to run out to school. And when it's time for him to leave to school, the bus is beeping. His mother happened to step downstairs to go to the grocery. He sees 2 cakes. Of course, if there's 2 cakes, the nicer one is for a siyum. He takes it with him to school. His mother comes home and her heart drops. The gorgeous cake is missing. The simple, not such fancy cake is sitting there. She realizes the mistake and she says to herself, "I'll wait till he arrives at school and I'll get it. I'll go pick it up. He can't have this cake." But as she's about to call school to share the message that she was coming, she thinks to herself, he probably showed the cake to his friends already. He's probably so excited about this cake. What am I going to do? Bring him this simple, unattractive cake and say, "That's for your siyum"? I can't do that. I'll have to figure something out. She lets him keep the cake. He comes home from school that day smiling ear to ear. "Mommy, everyone loved the cake. It was the best cake they ever had. They said it was the best siyum they ever had. Ma, you're the best." And he gives her a wet kiss on her cheeks. And she smiles. Years pass. Avrami gets bar mitzvah. He's in 11th grade. And Avrami starts getting into trouble. Hanging out with the wrong kids. Doing the wrong things. It's not good. And his parents find out one day. His father sits him down. And his father says to him, "Avrami, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know who you're hanging with. This has to stop. This is not who you really are. If you're having issues or problems, let's work it through. You got to change." And remarkably, a week, 2, 3 later, it seems like the issues went away, and Avrami gets his act together, and he grows up to be a beautiful, wonderful young man. The night before his chuppah, before his wedding, he writes his mother a letter. And when she reads this letter, she nearly drops to the ground. The letter thanks her for being such a caring mother, but it also shares something that she never knew before. He says, "When I had that trouble in 11th grade, it was far worse than you or Dad ever thought possible. I was going to places I shouldn't go. I was doing things I shouldn't do. And as a matter of fact, myself and a group of our friends had purchased tickets to Las Vegas. And we were planning on running away, adopting a new life, saying goodbye to the life we were part of, and becoming different people." He says, "The night before the flight, I went into one of the local bakeries. I wanted to buy some Danishes or some snacks for the trip the next day. I wasn't going to tell you anything. I was literally going to disappear. I walk into the store, and there, front and center, is this stunning, beautiful cake. It's a 3-story cake. It's got caramel on it. It's got nuts. And all of a sudden, it toggles a memory. The memory of being an 11-year-old boy and the happiness of that day, of that cake that you made me. And I realized how much you cared about me, how much you loved me. And I said, am I going to do this to my mother? I'm going to walk out of her life and disappear and cause her pain and agony every day thereafter? I can't do this." And I said to myself, I'm not participating. And the other boys went, and I stayed behind. I turned around a new leaf. And look, thank God I'm this amazing person. And tomorrow I'm walking down to the chuppah. And the mother read this, and the tears just streamed down her face. The cake wasn't even intended for her son. It was intended for her boss, mistakenly. Imagine if he had taken the simple cake. That would have been such a different outcome. As parents, we're so busy investing in so many things in our lives. Our social profile, our standings in the community, our financial successes, chesed, a million other things. But we all know that in our heart of hearts, our greatest priority is our children. Let's not forget the story. And let's remember that not a single action that we do for our children, not a single investment of time, investment of energy is forgotten. And that ultimately, that's what's going to keep our children where they're supposed to be, wishing you amazing nachas from your children.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org